Once upon a time, I learned Kung Fu, meditation, and how to breathe from Buddhist monks from the Shaolin Temple in China. What I learned from them changed the direction of my life forever. There's no doubt about that. But even more than that, they taught me how to live fully. They said to us students, don't be afraid of hard work. From discipline comes freedom. So as part of that, they had us up early every morning, running up and down hills before the sun rose, enjoying that special time before the day begins. And it gave me a real appreciation of those quiet, sacred moments. I don't run the hills with Shaolin monks anymore, but getting up early before the day begins is a habit that has stayed with me. And during this pandemic, it's been invaluable. In the last episode of the Breathe with Niall podcast, Josie and I talked about 5 very simple, highly effective ways of dealing with the pressure of the pandemic. In this episode, and the coming ones after that, we are going to go a little deeper into each of these 5 techniques. Josie and I hope you will find them useful. It's 20 minutes past 6 in the morning. It's quiet in the house. It's dark and it's cold. And I'm in the kitchen here, warming up the cacao on the stove. It's taken me about 15 minutes to get out of bed. The alarm rang a good while ago. I'm just trying to warm up the cacao now before we go in to the room that the children call the sitting lounge. It takes a few minutes for it to warm up. And here's Josie. Good morning, Josie.
Good morning.
How are you feeling at this point?
I feel a bit tired. Well, I feel more awake now, but it's hard to get out of bed when the alarm goes.
This is the point at which you often ask yourself, what am I doing this for? But we'll find out now in a second. We're going to heat the cacao up. We're going to go into the sitting lounge, as the children call it. We're going to breathe, drink the cacao, and then we'll come back to you then. You've probably heard me mention cacao a few times by now, and you might be wondering, what the hell is cacao? So, to cut a very long but colourful and interesting story short, cacao is a plant medicine. It is packed full of vitamins and minerals. It helps the body relax. It helps the body and mind heal. It is the original chocolate. Drinking cacao as part of a ceremony has helped Josie and I deal with the pressures of the pandemic. And we have been guided through this by a fantastic person and a real expert on cacao called Natasha Vavasour. You'll find Natasha on Instagram at Natasha Vavasour. Natasha provides workshops and events around cacao and also supplies ceremonial grade cacao to anybody who's looking for it. I'll also in the show notes include a link to one of the most informative articles that I've found about cacao, about its history, about the culture around cacao, about the science behind it, and about loads of other very, very interesting things. It's written by Daniela Moyles of the Still website, so I'll include that as well in the show notes if you're curious. So we've moved from the kitchen now, and we're in the front room, settled down on couches with blankets, and it's still quiet. The children are still asleep, and we're going to start off with a cacao ceremony. And when we're finished that, we're going to do some breathing. So we still have a good while before the children get up. So we're going to enjoy this quiet time.
So let's start by taking the cup of cacao in our hands and wrapping our fingers around the cup and feeling the heat from the cacao spreading through our fingers.
So we've just finished about 20 minutes of breathing. Before that, we did 20 minutes of a very relaxing, very blissful cacao ceremony. Even though we started in the dark, the sun is now starting to rise. And Josie, I just want to ask you, after doing that now, how do you feel?
I feel so relaxed and blissful and full of joy and just ready for the day now, and watching the light outside. It's just really, really gorgeous way to start the morning.
And why do you do this? Why do you put yourself through the effort of getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to do this before the homeschooling starts and before all the other stuff starts?
I just find that even though I find it a struggle to get out of bed, because I'm not a natural jump out of bed person in the morning when the alarm goes off, as soon as I come down and I sit with the cacao in my hands and I just feel the warmth of the cacao flowing through my body, it just is like a layer of bliss and calm around me. And then doing the breathing, I just feel like I could float through the rest of the day, and it just helps me then be a better person, be a nicer mum, feel it much easier to homeschool. I don't get as agitated maybe with the difficulty of homeschooling. I just feel that it's I'm much more relaxed, and I have much more patience with the kids and with any external pressures. It just helps me to let go.
And for anybody who's thinking, they're listening to this and going, okay, I'm going to give this a go, getting up a bit early, what are the difficulties you think that people will face when they decide to get up that little bit early before dawn?
I think it's hard when the alarm goes off and you're lovely and cozy in your bed. So I have like a tracksuit and a dressing gown ready to throw on me, and then I have the my cup and the saucepan ready to heat up the cacao, and I have my blankets out and a candle and everything prepared the night before to make it as easy as possible to get up and start the day early with the cacao and my breathing.
So this is what we do. Every morning the alarm goes off at 6 a.m. We stumble out of bed quietly, trying not to wake the children. We go downstairs into the kitchen. We warm up our cacao. We bring it into the front room. And we sit there, and Josie leads us through a cacao ceremony for about 15 or 20 minutes, sipping the drink, allowing it to work on us, feeling calm and blissful and ready. A link in the show notes below to a breathing session that I can guide you through, Or you might just enjoy sitting there, thinking, relaxing before you start your day. You may enjoy some yoga, you might enjoy some other types of movement, or maybe even a walk. The principle is simple. Try to find a little bit of time for yourself. Try to find a little bit of time to enjoy the day before it even begins, in those dark, quiet, sacred moments before the sun rises. Thank you for listening to the Breathe with Niall podcast. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, you can find out more about my events and my online courses and other great stuff at my website, breathewithniall.com. breathewithniall.com. This podcast is produced by the magnificent Conor Sweetman of C-Suite Studios. Music is from Blue Dot Sessions. We'll see you next week.